The Christian in Complete Armour by William Gurnall. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 18, chapter 14, contains the second cause of wandering thoughts in prayer. A second cause of these wandering thoughts in prayer is a dead and inactive heart. If the affections be once down, then the Christian is as a city whose wall is broken. There is no keeping them the thoughts in or Satan out. The soul is an active creature. Either it must be employed by us or it will employ us. Like our poor, find them work and they will keep at home. But let them want it and you will see them roving and begging all over the country. The affections are as the master workmen, which set our thoughts on work. Love entertains the soul with pleasant and delightful thoughts on its beloved object. Grief commands the soul to muse with sorrowful thoughts on its trouble, so that, Christian, as long as thy heart bleeds, in the sense of sin, they will have no leisure, when thou art confessing sin, to wonder, if thy desires be lively, and they flame forth in thy petitions with a holy zeal for the graces and mercies prayed for. This will be a wall of fire to keep thy thoughts at home. The lazy prayer is the roving prayer. When Israel talked of traveling 3 days' journey in the wilderness, Pharaoh said, Ye are idle, ye are idle. Therefore ye say, Let us go. And if he had said, Surely they have little to do, or else they would not think of gadding, and therefore, to cure them of this, he commanded more work to be given. Exodus 3:17 and 18. We may truly say thus of our wandering hearts, They are idle. We pray, but our affections are dead and dull. The heart hath little to do in the duty, once to speak or read a few words, which is so easy that a man may do it, and spare whole troops of his thoughts to be employed elsewhere at the same time. But now, when the affections are up, melting into sorrow, in the confession of sin, sallying forth with holy panting and breathing in its supplications, truly this fixes the thoughts. The soul can no more be in two places together than the body. And as these holy affections will prevent the soul's wanderings, so also make it more difficult for Satan to throw in his injections. Flies will not so readily light on a pot seething hot in the fire as when it stands cold in the window. Beelzebub is one of the devil's names, that is, the god of a fly, in allusion to the idolatrous sacrifices where flies were so busy. This fly will not so readily light on thy sacrifice, when flaming from the altar of thy heart with zeal. Now, to preserve thy affections in prayer warm and lively, let it be thy care to stir up the natural heat that is undoubtedly in thee, if a Christian, by the serious consideration of thy sins, wants, and mercies. While thou art pondering on these, thy eye will affect thy heart. They will, as Abishag, Abishag, did to David, by laying them in thy bosom, bring thy soul to a keenly heat in those affections which thou art exercising the several parts of prayer. Thy sins revealed and heightened with their aggravations will make the springs of godly sorrow to rise in thy heart. Canst thou do otherwise than mourn when thou shalt read the several indictments to thy guilty soul, now called to hold up its hand at the bar of thy conscience? Canst thou hear how the holy law of God hath been violated, his spirit grieved, and his Son murdered by thy bloody hands, and this when he hath been treating thee mercifully, and not more? Surely, should a man walk over a field after a bloody battle, and there see the bodies, though of his enemies, lying withered in their blood, his heart could not but then relent, though in the heat of the battle his fury shut out all thoughts of pity. But what if he should espy a father or a dear friend dead of the wounds which his unnatural hand had given? Would not his bowels turn? Yes, surely, if he carried the heart of a man in his bosom, thou mayest guess, Christian, by this what help such a meditation would afford towards the breaking of thy heart for thy sins. Certainly it would make thee throw away that unhappy dagger which was the instrument to give those deep stabs to the heart of Christ, and this is the best morning of all. Again, thy wants, well weighted, would give wings to thy desires, if once thou wert possessed with the true state of thy affairs, how necessary it is for thee to have supplies from heaven, or to starve and die, and so in the rest. End of chapter 14.